Info Plus for genuine information.
Hello, welcome to Info Plus Himalayan Television. What do you see as the cornerstone of the bilateral relation between Nepal and Malaysia, and how does it evolve in the years to come?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much for having me. Yeah. So when we talk about bilateral relation between Malaysia and Nepal, the cornerstone that we share, yeah, of course, one of the significant pillars is basically on manpower. Yeah, it goes without saying. Yeah, we have a very strong and significant aspect of Malaysia-Nepal relationship in the where we have a very large numbers of Nepalese currently residing and working in Malaysia. Based on our records, there are more than 300,000 Nepalese currently working in Malaysia. So based on this, basically both countries mutually benefits in terms of Nepal providing us with a steady workforce, while in return it benefits Nepal's economy through remittance. And apart from manpower, we also have a second pillars that contributes mostly on the bilateral relation between Malaysia and Nepal is on the trade and investment opportunities. We have several companies that actually invested in Nepal. Although the amount of the volume of trade and investments are relatively modest, but we are continuing to work together with Nepal to explore more opportunities in terms of trade and investment. However, currently Malaysia is basically exporting mostly electrical products, machineries and palm oil to Nepal, while Malaysia imports items such as carpets, agriculture products from Nepal. As we move forward, since we have a very strong people-to-people connection, the bilateral relations have grown significantly, and we see that there are more room, a huge potentials in the areas of tourism and education. So we are looking forward to a more collaboration in these sectors.
Malaysia and Nepal has a long history of cultural exchange. How do you think this bond enhances the diplomatic ties between two nations in the coming days?
Well, in terms of course, as I mentioned earlier, there's a huge and significant cultural and people-to-people connection. This allows for a very significant cultural exchange between the two countries. So when we talk about on educational aspect of this cultural exchange, we have had a collaboration in terms of Malaysian technical cooperation programs, in which Malaysia invites the government officials from Nepal to come over to Malaysia and have an exchange of expertise as well as training on many areas, including public management, other areas such as climate change. So this have been happen regularly, and not only that, under the MTCP programs, Malaysia also offers scholarship to Nepali students to undergo undergraduate and postgraduate programs in Malaysia. I think this has benefited a lot to the Nepalese students, as we offer reputable universities in Malaysia, a very low cost in terms of tuition fees, and a very low living cost compared to the Western countries. And despite being a very low cost and affordable, Malaysia's education doesn't compromise on its quality. So that is on education. While on tourism aspect, of course, there are a lot more ways to improve tourism collaboration between the two countries, and we are working very aggressively in tapping into tourism cooperation with Nepal.
In what areas do you see potential for further cooperation and collaboration between Nepal and Malaysia in coming years?
Well, there are many areas of cooperation, because the cooperations are mainly led by manpower cooperations. But of course, as Nepal continue to grow, we see a huge potential of cooperation. Firstly, in terms of tourism, of course. Secondly, in terms of education. And last but not least, of course, in terms of trade and investment. So these are the areas of sectors that we see there's a huge potential that we could have with Nepal in the future.
How has Malaysia supported Nepal in development efforts, particularly in areas such as infrastructure, education, and healthcare?
Okay, Malaysia has generally supported in Nepal's development in various ways. If you look into education, as I mentioned earlier, we have these MTCP programs in which Malaysia offers a scholarship for Nepalese students to undergo undergraduate and postgraduate program in Malaysia. And not only that, in terms of training, by inviting government officials to come over to undergo trainings and exchange of expertise with the government officials in Malaysia. So that would be on education. Next would be on areas of healthcare. So basically, Malaysia's provide medical training, of course under the same program, NTCP, medical training and healthcare, and facilitate collaboration between healthcare institutions in both countries. We have received a numbers of Nepalese healthcare professionals who went to Malaysia and undergo training, and not only training but exchange of expertise. The last that we have had is to have the heart experts, the Nepalese heart expert, to go to the Malaysia's heart institute, national institute, and have an exchange of expertise.
Trade between Malaysia and Nepal has seen a very good growth in recent years. So what steps are being taken to further strengthen economic ties and bilateral trade, to increase bilateral trade?
Of course, there's a lot of potentials in terms of trade and investment between both countries. Nepal being into a developing countries, trying to develop its countries, of course there's a huge potential for more collaboration in these areas. So we have engaged into several approaches. The first approach is mainly by engaging with the local business chamber. That's what we did. And through the Nepalese business chamber, we have had the opportunity to meet with potential partners in Nepal. Several engagements that we have had previously is in the areas of agriculture, education, and manufacturing. And the locals, the Nepalese business chamber, had been very forthcoming in assisting us, to meet with, to engage with potential partners in Nepal. And that's number one. Secondly, is by participating in trade and investment programs in Nepal. Giving an example is the recent Nepal Summit 2024, which was just held in April last month. So we have had our Malaysian business chambers to come over, and they have sealed an agreement with the Nepal business chamber to explore more opportunities in trade and investment.
Malaysia is known for its expertise in certain sectors such as technology and tourism. How can this expertise be leveraged to benefit Nepal's development goals in coming days?
Of course, Malaysia's expertise in technology and tourism can significantly benefit actually both countries, as well as, of course, Nepal's development goals. Malaysia can actually offer insights, resources and collaborative engagements and opportunities in these areas. For instance, to give an example, under the digital infrastructure development, Malaysia, which previously under Axiata, who'd been here before, had assisted Nepal in digital infrastructure, building robust telecommunication networks and its digital infrastructure, and as well as internet connectivity. And of course, we see more opportunities, areas that could help Nepal is to actually widen more connectivities, broadband connectivities in particular, in the remote areas. Another area is on e-government initiative. So Malaysia has successfully implemented an e-government services, that which can be served as a model for Nepal. So by adopting similar digital governance framework, Nepal can actually improve its public service delivery, enhance transparency, and streamline administrative processes. So while other areas is on ICT education and training, Malaysian Institute can actually partners with Nepalese institution to actually and universities particularly to offer education in ICT, information technology, communication technology, and of course because Malaysia is renowned for courses in particular in software development, cybersecurity, and digital entrepreneurship. This is something that we can offer, and we believe that this would be able to benefit the Nepal as a whole.
Climate change is a global pressing issue right now. And how is Malaysia and Nepal coming together to address environmental challenges and promote sustainability?
Well, Malaysia and Nepal are recognizing the pressing issues of climate change and environmental degradation. Are working together to address these areas and these challenges by promoting sustainable through various collaborative efforts. To name a few, participation in the international forums, especially in the United Nations Framework on Climate Change, UNFCCC. Both countries participated in these forums and had worked together, sit together, especially in the formulation of Paris Agreement, committing in national and collective actions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to climate change. In addition, both countries also organize workshops, seminars and training programs focused on climate change issues, disaster risk management, and sustainable agriculture practices. This program has actually built local capacity and raise awareness about environmental degradation.
Malaysia is a home to a significant Nepalese diaspora. And what do you think their presence in Malaysia contribute to the relationship between two countries?
Because there's a huge number of Nepalese diaspora in Malaysia. So, of course, the Nepalese in Malaysia actually plays a crucial role in strengthening the relationship between the two countries. And of course, in several areas. First, to name a few, is on economic contributions. The Nepalese, the large number of Nepalese in Malaysia had contributed significantly in our physical infrastructure development. While in return, of course, we are very delighted that a lot of Nepalese are able to remit their hard-earned money back to their country, Nepal. That is one, and then the exchange of culture, because there's the significant numbers of Nepalese diaspora in Malaysia, and because the Nepalese celebrates celebrations such as Dashan and Tikal, and they celebrate in Malaysia. So the locals in Malaysia, they experience this festival. So this allows for a more cultural exchange and allows for more understanding of the culture for each country. And of course, the Nepalese in Malaysia experience the major festival in Malaysia. This allows them to experience the hospitality, the cultural exchange in Malaysia.
Looking ahead, what are your hopes and aspirations for the future of Nepal to Malaysia relationships?
Since we have a very strong people-to-people connection, we have already had that. It is my fervent hope that we could further explore other areas. And since there are very huge potential between Malaysia and Nepal, we are very hope that there will be more cooperation and collaboration in areas such as education, tourism, and trade and investment. The grassroots relation between Malaysia and Nepal is already strong, and it is time to utilize this strength to mutually benefit both countries.
How does Malaysia views the importance of education in strengthening diplomatic ties with Nepal?
Well, education, of course, plays a very pivotal role in strengthening the diplomatic relations between Malaysia and Nepal. Both Malaysia and Nepal actually could benefit in terms of building human capital and professional expertise. I have mentioned earlier about the MTCP programs. This is where the exchange of experts, officials, as well as students actually helps in building human capital, which benefits to both countries. Malaysians are able to exchange our skills and expertise with the Nepal counterpart, while Nepal could also tap into our expertise in many areas and bring it back to Nepal and share it with local authorities and hopefully to develop the countries. Other than that, through education, we could also promote research and innovation. What we have currently is we are trying at the moment. We have our largest public universities, UITM, Mara Technology University, being our largest public university, is working to work with Tribhuvan universities, which happen to be the largest public university in Nepal as well. So we are trying to forge a collaboration between these two countries and hopefully to have a joint research so that between the two biggest public universities. That is one of the engagement that we are trying. Other than that, we also have Open University Malaysia, trying to get into Nepal and offer education that are through online platform, because Open Malaysia University is actually a university that are based on online. They have no physical class. Everything, all courses are done online. So this is something that Malaysia is trying to offer in Nepal, so that the educations offers is, of course, a quality education, but at the same time is accessible to anyone with a very low cost.
Are there any upcoming and outgoing educational programs between Malaysia and Nepal?
Yes, there are. As I mentioned earlier, we have two at least. Two that I could highlight is one is the collaboration between the UITM, Mara UITM Malaysia, our largest public university, with Tribhuvan University. We are hoping to have collaboration between the two countries, especially in terms of joint research. So because Malaysia sees that Nepal have certain expertise in certain areas, and we are trying to tap and exchange knowledge in these areas. Secondly, we have also Open University Malaysia, who is trying to offer a new way of education, which through online platform. I believe there are very limited offer in Nepal that actually offers tertiary education through online platforms, at the comfort of your house. So this is something that Malaysia is trying to offer and get into Nepal. And other than that, we are also an ongoing effort on education and training is between our mountain trekking association with Nepal trekking associations, because we acknowledge Nepal expertise in mountain trekking. So that is why our Malaysian trekking association is very hopeful to actually learn the expertise from Nepal, especially in terms of mountain trekking. Okay. So these are areas that are ongoing.
And in what ways Malaysia supports Nepalese students to pursue their higher education in Malaysian universities?
Well, Malaysia is trying to support the Nepalese students to study in Malaysia in various ways. Firstly is by offering a cheap, affordable and quality education. Yeah? We have education institution in Malaysia that actually offers very cheap compared to Western countries. Yeah? And this affordable education is actually, despite being cheap and affordable, they don't compromise on the quality of the educations. And most of the education in Malaysia, in particular the tertiary education, actually are recognized and comply with the international standards. So that is number one. Secondly is through our MTCP program again. MTCP from time to time offers scholarship to students in Nepal to undergo undergraduate and postgraduate studies in Malaysia, and this exchange of students actually allows a stronger people-to-people connections. And it is through this exchange of students we believe that a more understanding in terms of cultures can be forged between the two countries.
Since Malaysia is known for its diverse educational offerings, how can Nepal tap into this diversity to enrich its own educational landscapes?
Yes, Malaysia have had worked really hard to ensure that our education standards comply with the global standards. And now, acknowledging that Nepal is trying to develop and improve its education facilities and standards, we have several universities in Malaysia, the reputable one, trying to get into Nepal. In fact, there are at least two universities in Malaysia, which is Taylor's College and Lincoln University, who are already here in Nepal and have collaborated with the education institution in Nepal. Okay. They're already here and produce a very top-notch students every single year. So this is something that we are very delighted that the local universities have had able to work together with our Malaysian universities in producing the future leaders of Nepal. And under that, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have other universities that are trying to get into Nepal and trying to work together with Nepal's education institution, so that we believe that this is an opportunity not only for Nepal but for Malaysia to exchange expertise and knowledge in the areas of education.
With the rise of digital education, how is Malaysia leveraging technology to enhance education opportunities for Nepalese students?
Well, in the rise of technology, and now for Malaysia we have go up to 5.0 5G technology. Malaysia has, especially after COVID, post-COVID, Malaysia starts to graduate into a more online platform-based education. The most leading universities that offers online education is Open Malaysia University, the OUM. So OUM has successfully organized its class almost 100%.
Okay.
For all its courses,
okay.
Solely by online platform. No students will have to come to the faculties and to attend a physical class. And all education resources are made available online. So this is something that we would offer Nepal, since Nepal had also a very developed communication technology, connectivity in particular. So this is something that we foresee that Nepal could tap into this approach, and hopefully to offer a very affordable and quality education to Nepalese students.
Cultural exchange is often an internal part of educational initiatives. How do you see cultural exchange programs will support to bring the bilateral relationship between two countries in better ways in coming years?
Cultural exchange in education, well, several areas. One is that as we have MTCP, we often had engagement, active engagement with the MTCP alumni. Through these programs with MTCP alumni, we often exchange ideas and knowledge sharing in terms of culture, in terms of the policies. What are the areas that we could improve better, how we could actually work together in certain areas, because some of the MTCP alumni, they are expert in certain areas. So this allows us to engage, to have more engagement, active engagement, and access to more and wider collaboration between the two countries. And other than that, having students, Nepali students in Malaysia, we see that the students in Malaysia, they act as an ambassador in promoting the culture, the Nepal culture in Malaysia. So through this, we see that the cultural exchange through students education could actually enhance the understanding between the two countries, and to actually expand that a little bit more. I'm very delighted that so many, because of the exchange, the people connectivity between the two countries, actually though I've been here for almost a year, and through my experience here in Nepal, it is actually a lot easier to find a Nepali who can speak Malay compared to English. So it's very surprising. If I go to any areas and if I have to speak to a Nepalese, of course I'm still trying to improve my Nepalese language, but I would attempt to actually speak in Malay compared to English, and chances that they are able to speak Malay is a lot higher compared to English. So this is a proof where an exchange of people-to-people connectivities, and particularly through education, has actually benefited both countries.
Are there any specific areas, especially within the education sector with Malaysia, where Malaysia and Nepal are planning to cooperate jointly initiative research?
Yes, of course, I have mentioned earlier, we are currently working with our largest public university in Malaysia, the UiTM, to have a collaboration with Tribhuvan University, the largest public university in Nepal, to have a joint research in the areas of science. Because there are certain areas in science that we acknowledge that Tribhuvan University has the expert that can actually contribute to Malaysia, and we believe that we also have something to offer to Tribhuvan University, and this is something that both universities could jointly benefit. And other than that, they are also working on having exchange students, so that both students from both universities could benefit and experience in studying in both places. And in addition to that, you also are exploring the opportunities to have joint supervisors for master's studies, because instead of having one supervisor for master studies, we are exploring the opportunity to have a joint supervisors both in Nepal and Malaysia for master's program.
Looking ahead, what are your key priorities in promoting educational cooperation with Nepal?
Our key priorities in promoting education with Nepal. We had, first and foremost, in promoting education, we have engaged with several agencies in Nepal. Well, one of the agencies that have been assisting us mostly Study Plus, yeah? And through Study Plus, we had managed to bring collaboration of education between the two countries a lot more, and to bring more collaboration between the education institutions between the two countries to a greater heights. And the areas we see is, of course, on ICT, yeah, information and communication technology, of course on tourism sectors, and as well as public governance. Yeah? These are the areas that we see that we could further collaborate.
Yeah. Nepal is now the second largest source of foreign workers to Malaysia, with an estimated of 7 lakh Nepalese workers working in Malaysia. So do you have any thoughts to enhance the well-being and welfare of the Nepali citizens residing in Malaysia at present?
Certainly, yes. I mean, the well-being, the welfare of foreign workers in Malaysia has always been the top priority for Malaysia, because when they come to Malaysia, and they will bring back to their countries the experience they had in Malaysia, and we always work very hard to ensure that they experience only the positive sides of Malaysia, and on this sense we are working very closely with the Nepal government in ensuring that the welfare and the safety of Nepalese in Malaysia continue to be protected. And to indicate some of the effort is that we are going to have a MOU, renew our MOU with Nepal government, and we are in the midst of discussing ways to improve the welfare, the well-being of the Nepalese in Malaysia, and ensure that, you know, should there be any issues, of course, from time to time we would expect certain issues. Yeah, what most important is how do we address this issue. So these are things that are being discussed between both countries, Malaysia and Nepal. So hopefully, with the signing of the MOU later on, we could better safeguard the well-being and welfare of Nepalese in Malaysia.
It's been great pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Info Plus, for genuine information.